Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here to talk about the two Achilles heels of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. Now, it's largely paradise when it comes to the Z Flip 3. There are so many ways that they've improved this phone over last year's model. The Z Flip 5G, which I loved a lot, and is still a very good phone if you can find one cheap and don't want to spend all the money on a new Z Flip 3. But the Z Flip 3, bigger screen on the outside, 120Hz refresh rate, Snapdragon 888, IPX8 water resistance. They've done a lot of things to really make this phone better, and it still falls short in two really important areas. And we're going to talk about that in this video. But before we do that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Let's talk about the Z Flip 3. So the Z Flip, or Samsung rather, had two things they absolutely needed to do better on this year with the Z Flip. One was give it a bigger screen on the outside. So if we look at the Z Flip 3, look at this tiny little screen, this tiny little notification screen like the Wall Street ticker. It was abysmal. And there was clear competition on the other side of the fence in the Motorola camp because it had this big screen from the get-go. There was the Motorola Razr, had this screen. Then the Razr 5G still had this screen. I would imagine that whenever we get another Razr phone, it's going to have the same size screen, if not bigger, and it's still going to have a big leg up over the Z Flip. The only thing that the Z Flip has going for it is mass adoptability and a better price right now because there's no new Motorola Razr phone out yet. So, looking at this one, yeah, they did a better job making this screen, but it's still just a glorified notification screen. You can interact with it in some small ways. You can see the weather, you can change your songs, you can look at the Samsung Fit if you actually use that. I don't really care for it, but Samsung Health, whatever it's called. So, yeah, it's got a bigger screen, but there's still a big difference between this and this. And that's problematic because if a new Razr phone comes out anytime in the near future, it's mostly probably going to, in my department, get a recommendation. I got this one for like $400 used on eBay, and I have fallen in love with this. I did not expect myself to like the Razr as much as I do. I like this. I think that it's a much better improvement. I mean, who couldn't improve over this? Like, and it was apparent. Like, they realized with the Fold, you need a big screen on the outside. People don't just want to open it up and use it all the time. You need a way to interact with it better. So, it's good that they did this. It's a step in the right direction. But it still falls short of the competition that they've had that up for a year and a half now. So, I still don't feel like they really advanced beyond where Motorola was at with what they've done. And in some regards, I would still recommend the Motorola to some people over the Z Flip 3. So that's one thing they really needed to do good on. They did okay on it. I mean, yeah, universally, people like this a whole lot better. This is a significant improvement, but it wasn't enough of an improvement. They really needed to do better. So that's the first thing. The other two-prong thing in this two Achilles heel that I'm mentioning with regard to the phone is the battery. The battery life is not good. It's okay. If you're not a power user, it's probably fine, but I like to call it the sunrise to sunset battery. If you only need your phone battery to last you from when you get up in the morning and pour your coffee to when you walk in the door from home from work or get done with your work from home day, it'll do that. It won't give you a lot more beyond that. If you don't use your phone very much, then yeah, it'll last till you go to sleep. But if you use your phone even a reasonable amount, like a decent amount, like average, like slightly above average consumption, or a power user or a tech person, it's not going to do that. On some days, I have to recharge this phone twice in the same day, and it doesn't charge fast. And that's another prong of this whole thing they need to fix. Not only does it need a larger battery, it needs quick charging. Like, it only taps out at 15-watt charging. That's completely unacceptable. It's not even 18-watt. So, I know why they did it. It's because there's very few battery cells in here. They don't want to warm up the battery too much. They don't want too much high temperature, high energy going into it because that will degrade the battery life over time, especially if you don't follow proper charging methods. So they need faster charging. This phone, if it's going to die halfway through the day if you use it heavily, you need to be able to recharge it like that, and you can't do it. So I find that a little bit unacceptable, and I said this before the phone ever came out. I said this is going to be a problem. I made a video saying I'm worried, I'm concerned about the battery life, even before I got it, and I've confirmed it since I got it. I'm still only getting about 3.5 hours of screen on time. and it's done with the battery analysis. So this phone right here, is a great phone. I love it. I love using it. I enjoy using it. It is a fancy, fantastic device. But they did people a disservice in not giving you a bigger battery. The first one had 3,300 milliamps. The second one had 3,300 milliamps. This one, especially with all the things they put in there, needed a bigger battery. Even if it just went to 3,500. Even if it just went to 37, 3,800. That would have been a tremendous improvement because it would have given you that extra battery life you needed to get into the evening. Instead of just getting you home from work. Like, you can get home from work, but you might worry about going out for happy hour. And that gives people battery anxiety. Like, you don't want to be sitting there worrying about having to turn on power saving mode, or is my phone going to last me till I get home? Can I listen to my music on my car ride home from work? So, or can I go to the gym and listen to it while I, burn off some calories and some stress from the day? So, those are two areas they really, really needed to really hammer down on this phone. It needed a bigger, better, more involved screen. Like, you can't even send smart replies. You can't text from it. You can't reply from it. You can only acknowledge it, and you can clear out the notification. That's cool. You can answer the phone, or you can clear a timer by turning it off by swiping, but it needed to be better. And at $1,000, that's great. They brought it down from $1,449 to $999, but they still, I don't think, did enough. They did just enough to get by and make people happy. Of course, if they put a bigger screen on the outside, it wouldn't have been able to be at $999. And $999 is still a sweet spot when it comes to people spending money on their phone. People don't, once you go over that 1,000 mark, it's like an instant turnoff for probably 20% of people. It's the whole thing with cars. It's $14,999. It's not $15,000. It's $14,000. So this one, it's only $900. It's not $1,000, even though $999 here in Texas, you add tax, 8.025 comes out to $1,080. So it is a $1,000 phone. It's over a $1,000 phone, really, especially if you get the 256 storage option instead of the 128. So the Z Flip 4 is definitely going to have these improvements. I worry just from a competition perspective. And of course, competition is good. Motorola knows what they're doing. You can use this. You can actually have apps work from this. You can use YouTube. You can reply. You can send text messages. You can type on it. It's still a really good phone. I could happily use this phone for another year with zero problems, and it's got a Snapdragon 765G in it. So Motorola did a lot of things right. It was more expensive. The screen may not be as refined. There are certain things that may not do as well as the new Z Flip 3, but from a flip phone perspective, they nailed it when it came to the implementations and using the phone whenever it's closed with that outside screen. So, Samsung, yes, I like what they did. I love this phone. I really enjoy it. I recommend it to a lot of people. I think it's a great phone. But it just didn't go quite the distance enough for me to sign off in those two areas to give it, if they fix those two areas, this would be 10 out of 10 best phone in the last 5 years for me. I mean, other than the BlackBerry Key 2, but I love that phone. But from a non-keyboard phone, this right here for me would be the best phone of the last couple of years. I would instead of just loving it, I would super love it. Anyway, so that's all I got in this video. I wanted to talk about those two things and how Samsung missed the mark with that. And it's still problematic. And if Motorola is lurking in the shadows, if they really bring their A game and they keep the concept that they have now, it's going to be hard to say, hey, don't look at one of those, because it's a really good phone. Anyway, that's all I got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.